Thanks for joining us again. A little bit of lockdown sort of minis, would you say, Jared?
Something a little different.
Yeah, we've decided to do something a little different now that Shudder has released season 4 of Slasher. Now, the first 3 seasons are on Netflix, and basically it's each season is a standalone kind of, essentially a 10-episode slasher movie. We've seen all 3 seasons, and we're aware that this was coming. And so we decided as a pair that we would watch each episode and then do a little discussion about it and put it out there for you. It's going to be full-on spoilers. So if you haven't seen the episode before you've listened to this, make sure you either watch it or you watch it in conjunction with it.
Yeah, check it out first.
Yeah, we're going to speak very sort of candidly about what goes on in each episode.
We don't get the opportunity to do this much with the TV slasher shows, so we're getting a little bit overexcited. We're just going to lay everything on the table.
Yeah. We're just going to go, I can't control myself. Also, the idea of this is for us to kind of talk through the series as it's happening, as opposed to watch the whole thing and then give you the drum. So we're going to sort of posit a few theories and stuff like that around the place as well. So, Jared, let's go straight into it. What was your take on episode 1? Should we give a little précis about what it's about?
Well, before we start, I just wanted to, before we start tossing theories and things like that out, I just wanted to sort of clarify who's Poirot and who's Benoit Blanc here. Like, which one's which?
Well, you're more of a crowing like a rooster bloke. You're Blanc.
I'm happy to be Blanc. But yeah, cause once you start hearing us work through our theories, I'm sure that's who you'll be mistaking us for. So
there'll be plenty of sounds reasonable.
Yeah, there might be a few. What the fuck are you talking about as well on there somewhere? Probably should just give a quick rundown of what we've seen so far.
Yes. So the basic premise of this season is a family who, it's basically a reunion out on a sort of a secluded island, and the family kind of the father is essentially, he's dying and he is putting his substantial fortune up for grabs, basically. So that's the base premise of it. Of course, there's a shadowy character in the background who starts knocking people off. So there's the slasher element for you. Now, Jared, let me get your basic general thoughts on the first episode. Knowing that we've seen all 3 seasons, give us a little bit of a thought of where you think it fits and how it sort of sat for you in comparison to those other 3.
Yeah, so it's probably out of the 4 seasons, this one's probably had me the most excited around the first episode, mainly because the idea was something that probably lends itself to an episodic series more than the other ones did. I appreciate what the other ones were doing. I really enjoyed portions of those first 3 seasons, but they were all sort of fairly standard slasher setups, trying to stretch out to 10 episodes, except for maybe the third one set in the apartment building. I guess they tried to start to mix things up a little bit there. But this one, immediately you get a little bit of a Harper's Island vibe mixed with a little bit of Ready or Not. And so you've got all those mysteries between the characters that I'm assuming they're going to try to play out over the 10 episodes in amongst where everyone's getting knocked off. So first things first, I was pretty happy with how it all set everything up, and I'm pretty keen to see where it goes from here. Now, as we saw with something like Harper's Island, it really hangs on some of the twists and what develops. I know me and you were both fairly big fans of that as an experience, but also sort of felt that it ran out of steam a little bit.
Yeah.
And I could see that happening here, depending on the twists and turns. But so far, so good for me.
Yeah, I would agree. It opened with, I felt even a little bit of a vibe of April Fool's Day.
Yeah,
as well. Had a touch of that. I could see the Ready or Not comparisons. And actually, my wife actually said to me at the time, haven't we seen something like this? And I was like, yeah, Ready or Not has that sort of feel. But I like the concept, that idea of the secluded island, the family being brought back together with unresolved issues, and then there's someone in the background who's wanting some sort of revenge. It lends itself very nicely to that, and Harper's Island, I think, did a pretty good job with it, barring the actual reveal, which wasn't good. But I believe this one is not only 6 or 8 episodes. Is that right?
Yeah, I thought it was 8. But it might be shorter.
Yeah, but that to me lends itself better. One of Harper's Island's problems is it was 13 episodes long.
Yeah. They'd also committed to losing one episode a week in that kind of that format that they decided was, who's going to go this week, and we would spend the episode waiting to see who would get knocked over, which was fun, but it really kind of handcuffs you in a story sense somewhat. Yeah. Especially when you're getting down to the last 3 or 4 episodes and we've already got some ideas on who it's going to be. It really started to hurt them. I felt that you knew that it was only going to be getting down to those last 2 characters, basically.
Yeah, and so this one started
this can avoid that. This can do it on its own terms.
Yeah, I really like the fact that they started with the 25 years earlier, and we got a sense of the fact that of the games that are being played by this family. And the father, what he's putting them through. So it doesn't it's not a surprise when they turn up there and the father sort of says, that they've turned up for a reunion 25 years later, and he mentions the fact that they're going to play a game again.
By showing that first, when they're coming back together, you've already got a sense of these frosty relationships, that they've got this strange dynamic, and then when you see the father, you already know he's a bit weird. And then, as you're about to point out, Adam, obviously a very good casting choice there.
Yes. Legendary horror director David Cronenberg. He's got an interesting look about him. He's got a coldness to the way he talks, which I think really works there.
Yep.
I mean, no one's going to mistake him for, an Oscar winner or anything, but he's a solid-ish actor. And in this particular case, he's good. It
brings his kind of reputation into the role, that he's a little bit quirky and a little bit off.
Yeah.
So just by knowing who it is and the films that he's made, you kind of get that in the character, that, okay, he's a little different. He's got his own way of doing things.
Yeah, and I do like the idea of, I'm dying, I'm going to have an assisted euthanasia, but there's a game to be played. To get my money, and every descendant has a stake.
Yep.
Right? So what I like about that is it builds this resentment. These already underlying issues are going to bubble to the surface.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to create more animosity because there's money involved.
Yeah, that's right.
So I really think that's a really good way. Probably of all the seasons, this is the one that has the most, I guess, depth to its plotting.
The setup has the most promise, for sure.
Definitely. I mean, you look at the first season, it probably had was the next best in terms of that. But seasons 2 and 3 were pretty standard. Pretty straight. There was a murderer. And 2 had the little hook of, I know what you did last summer, we killed somebody and we hid the body and everything.
Yep.
And 3, I can't even remember 3 that well.
Yeah, well, it was just the sort of goings on in the apartment building.
Yeah.
Which just, I mean, I don't recall the setup all that much, but it was fairly, from what I remember, it was fairly cut and dried plot-wise. It was trying to get in amongst all the, that all these people in the apartment block have their own secrets and their own little sort of twists and turns in the story, but it didn't really hold the same kind of excitement, I guess, after the first episode that this one did.
Yeah, this one has a really nice vibe to it. Again, you know me, location.
Oh, loving it.
I like to see bodies of water and, forests and stuff like this, and I dug all that. And that's why Harper's Island worked for me, and this looks like it's going to work in a similar fashion. Getting off to, into the things that I really liked. Firstly, the violence perpetrated on one of the... I think he's the first and only kill in the episode.
No, there's two, but yes, he's the first one.
He is fucking disemboweled.
Yeah, pretty nasty.
On screen, directly in front of us.
He is.
It's fucking horrible.
Yeah, it was pretty awful, wasn't it? But yeah, the special effects are looking pretty good. They seem to be doing a little more than they've done in previous seasons.
Yeah, I mean, I remember season 3, where they cut a bloke's head off with an axe, and it was all done in camera, and I was fucking super impressed. I was really impressed with this, but yeah, it was also sort of over the top gore. Yeah, it was a bit. But I kind of dug it.
It was pretty gross. Yeah, I think you can see that they are going to be trying to paint the screen red, and there is a little bit of special effects work to appreciate there.
I thought the little underlying mystery that's kind of there with regards to the missing child is another nice piece. Okay, it's a through line.
Yeah, it just adds a little bit extra to these crazy games and whatnot. It seems like it's going to be what carries most of the twists and turns going forward. Some of the people looked like they probably would have been a little bit more upset about things, but I can let that go. It was another piece to the puzzle that they are clearly going to try to unravel as we go. So yeah, I'll say so far that's working for me. And again, it just depends on the twists and turns as to how we see it in the long run.
Yeah, and the way I look at it is I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued enough to hang around. Now, any good sort of episodic mystery has to get you to want to come back. Want to come and see the next episode. And I was intrigued enough. I did watch the next episode. Obviously, we'll hold that back. But so I was pretty intrigued to get on it, and I was actually hoping they would drop the whole series. But I'm kind of okay with waiting a little bit.
Yeah,
between episodes.
A few days in between doesn't hurt. I also like to binge things straight away, but I've had a couple of those ones on Disney Plus especially. They like to go with a few days between dropping each episode, which is fine by me. I think that plays into the whole sort of culture of basically what we're doing now, talking through it and trying to almost getting yourself more excited for the next episode.
Also, with my detective background, I need a couple of days to let it percolate. And
I think that's dangerous. I think it's dangerous because that just gives us more time to toss out theories that are wrong and follow up incorrect leads.
Ridiculous theories that are wrong. Yes. The other big thing I liked was that it ended on a cliffhanger with the missing son returning.
Yes.
And that was a real nice way to say, well, what's next?
Yeah,
what's next? I really wanted to find out.
I think that was a nice way to lead into the next episode. A nice way to, a cliffhanger like that always is handy to sort of just give you that little buzz of, okay, now I really want to jump into the next episode to find out how that came about.
Yeah, agreed. Now, Jared, did you have anything that you didn't like?
Didn't like the bloke that gets knocked over first. he's only there for a little bit of background, a little bit of filler. We know he's going out pretty early. But if the killer hadn't have got him, as we kind of discussed, he was probably going to kill himself the way he was working around that fucking outboard motor. He was sticking his head into it while it was going, then he's leaning forward on the propeller while he's trying to start the fucking thing. Like,
come on, dipshit. Keep your fucking face out of it. I mean, what they were trying to do was do the old bait and switch.
Yeah,
The killer would push his head into the fucking outboard motor.
Yes.
And then we switched it around. We took him back inside the shack. The thing is, I actually think, Jared, I've got a bone to pick with him dating back to some of our Friday the 13th Part 3 episode. But, you know, look, I got no time for sucking on people's fingers. And let me tell you, most people's fingers are fucking a breath away from your asshole 5 or 6 times a day sometimes. And you can wash all day.
Yeah. What do you want him to do?
Some people don't wash their hands after dropping a fucking loaf.
So you were expecting him to whip out a little bottle of hand sanitizer and just get her to use that before he began?
Put this on. Yeah.
Look, I'm intending on doing something here.
Heavy.
I'm intending to go somewhere with this, but I just need you to rub this on your hands first.
Yeah. I am not doing that until you sanitise. Jesus.
Yeah, fair enough.
Come on, mate.
Fair call.
Not your best work. The other thing with that is he kind of looked like he might be a bit of a player in it because he banged the father's wife.
Correct.
And so I'm thinking, okay, well, is he going to be kind of another potential red herring suspect?
Yes, well, that's what it seemed like it was going for.
If he doesn't die of dysentery after sucking someone's fingers.
That's right.
But I felt that's where it was going. And then he's just brutally dispatched.
Well, that was one of those things for me that was part of the reason I didn't like the character. I thought the same. I thought they would that if that was what they were going to go for with those two characters, that they would keep him around a little bit longer to start sort of throwing curveballs out there about who it might be. But of course, you know, as we've spoken about, it's probably not a bad move because whenever something like that happens, to create a red herring, we got kind of look at it and go, nah, it's not him. So,
Jared, my initial sweep of the first 20 minutes was he did it.
Yeah, so your theories are already shot. But no, that's what was funny about it.
Board, Hercule.
That's what was funny about it because immediately, the second everyone got together and he fucking stumbles off the boat with his fish in hand, and I was like, yeah, he's going to get killed pretty early. He doesn't look very important. And he looks like a bit of a scumbag, so he'll go pretty early.
And then 10 minutes later he's sucking fingers and I was like, yep, picked it. It's a scumbag.
Yeah, he's going to go early. He's going to die of some disease very quickly.
He got COVID. He just picked up COVID there.
Yeah, it all still works, I guess, because we knew that it was about the wife character. They'd already tossed out she's a gold digger, whatnot. So you know that I'm not too fussed about that. But the guy in general was a fucking deal. As you said, get your fucking head out of the propeller. Like, I'm sure whatever you're looking at can be observed just as easily when the thing's off.
Yeah, exactly. Probably more likely.
Yeah. But the only other real thing that I didn't like so much was that 25 years ago, everybody looks exactly the same. They haven't aged a day, other than Cronenberg's hair, which they dyed to make him look younger. Look, I'm sorry, David,
but fucking ludicrous.
Yeah, your face is still showing every one of those years, buddy. So
your face is still fucking sagging down around your neck. Like, oh, mate, we're trying to swallow your 55. Fuck off.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that doesn't work out so well. They don't even take the steps of, you know, dressing the characters in some, you know, era appropriate attire or something stupid like that. They just don't even bother with it. They're just like, yeah, we're led to believe that this is 25 years ago, even though they look exactly the same.
You know what though? Give Cronenberg a mustache or something. Like, holy shit, do something with the bloke. Shoot him from the back.
Soft lighting, all that sort of shit. Yeah, shoot him from behind.
Fucking soft lighting. Turn the fucking lights off. For God's sake.
Oh, but yeah, that was...
Shoot him from the back. Shoot him from the back.
Yeah.
Because all you need to do is hear his voice.
Well,
now,
you get a double. You get the double from the back. Someone with hair that's naturally that colour.
No, you still dye his hair just to be a prick.
Yeah, it was kind of ridiculous.
Come on, David. Get in the chair, mate. You're going to have a fucking brown wash put through it.
The funny thing was, too, though, that the hair colour looked exactly like it does when you put it through a person who has white hair. Like, it's like, okay, we've got a bloke with...
Put a wig on him. Put a wig on the guy. For God's sake. What's going on in Canada?
I mean, obviously they're working to a budget. That's the only step you can take to make this appear to be 25 years ago. So, yeah, that didn't work out all that well for mine.
It's conceivable with the younger people, like the sons and daughters and that.
Yeah, of course. Because they just switch the actors, off you go. Like,
yeah, but even then you could have copped it because, you know, I've pictures of me from 20 years ago, I still look pretty much the same.
No, you don't. 25 years ago, you had the same coloured hair as Cronenberg, if I'm not mistaken. In a couple of pictures.
Yeah. Fucking platinum blonde. 25 years ago, I was platinum blonde. Holy shit. I'm going to stop talking about this stuff. I'm starting to sound like a real dickhead.
Well, you know, let's just say you weren't the only one. I didn't quite go platinum blonde, but I did have it blonde for a very short stretch there.
No, but I was talking about a picture of my graduating, my university graduation picture.
Yeah.
I had a fucking mustache.
You took your own advice and you had a mustache. So we can accept maybe that's 25 years ago.
In that picture, I look like fucking Hulk Hogan's lesser talented brother. Like I got a degree in fucking, you know, Hulkamania or something. I look bloody ridiculous. Oh, shit. I'm going to stop talking now. Yeah. With regards to that stuff, it was just, it felt really weird because they had not aged appropriately at all. Like,
no.
It didn't... Give them different hairstyles. Fucking
do something.
Like, they looked identical.
They did.
So that was something I didn't like. Something I did like, though, and I wanted to come back to, was that little interesting dynamic involving the dude who he has his daughter, but he's married to not her mother.
Yeah.
And she's got, is it Pika or whatever? Pika, where they eat weird things.
Yeah. Like fingers?
And she bends down and eats some bird poop.
Yes. I thought it was paint, but it might be bird shit.
Oh, maybe it was paint, mate. Of course I've decided it was some fecal matter.
I think they did mention that might have lead in it, so I thought it was paint.
That might have lead in it. What, the bird shit? That's what my response would have been.
Yeah. I didn't know bird shit had lead in it. Oh, man.
Yeah, but I like that whole idea of, Pika is an interesting character trait, because it's not something you see in a lot of this sort of stuff.
No.
Secondly, I like the way she kind of forced her, she was pushing the stepmother out of it. constantly kind of becoming distressed, and then he had to sort of calm her down and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting dynamic that plays out for mine.
Yeah, that was all right. That was. I think the dynamic was okay. How she was sort of disregarding the stepmother altogether, and how that's going to affect.
But the eating of the bird shit was wrong.
Oh man. I mean, I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to seeing what other types of shit she's going to be eating over the next 6 episodes or whatever.
Shit.
But
that was an interesting dynamic for me.
Yeah, it was more the dynamic than the Pico for me, to be honest. But we'll see. Where that ends up.
Now, you were a fan of David Cronenberg laughing at it up.
Oh, yeah. Well, look, I think the artsy sister, I think she was a pretty good performance anyway. Like, I think she gives a good acting performance, especially when she's talking to her kids and one of them seems to be identifying as non-binary or whatever. So she starts regaling us of when she fucking had a lesbian affair at school or something like that.
Yeah, she was a sculptor. Wonderful hands. I was like,
yeah, I thought she was pretty good in general, but then she puts on that art performance, and Cronenberg fucking bursting out with laughter. Absolute gold, especially when they're walking off and you just hear him sort of quietly in the background go, "What the fuck was that?" and just kind of keep walking. Excellent stuff.
I also love that scene that she's doing the performance and the camera pans across everyone and everyone's just about asleep.
Yeah.
So she yells something out and they all go, "Oh!"
Yeah, that was pretty good. I like that a lot, actually.
And then at the end of the episode, he tells her he's seen better art performances in the toilet.
Yep, I'm certainly gonna miss David for the remainder of the episode.
Yes, God. He'll come back though. 55-year-old David will return a few times,
that's right.
I'm sure.
I'm thinking we're going to get some flashbacks, but I wouldn't mind a curmudgeonly ghost David fucking talking shit to everyone.
But they were good. All that shit was really good because it actually had a little bit of a sense of humour in small doses.
Yeah, it did.
Now, theories, Jared. Theories. We're one episode in. What did you see that makes you go,
Everything.
David
Cronenberg's hair. A girl eating bird shit. People who have aged not a day in 25 years. A lot of things that are really kind of working through my mind here.
But connecting the dots. What have you got out of it?
Connecting the dots. I haven't picked up any particular. Well, I have. I've got a. The housekeeper. So the housekeeper seems like she was possibly running something with Cronenberg to have the kid kidnapped. That's what I'm first going with.
With Cronenberg?
Well, so the reason I'm saying that is two things. She's the one that tells him to go to the beach and makes a point of, when he says the red one's mine, she kind of makes a point of, yes, it is. As in, like, whoever's come onto the beach to grab him, like grab the one in the red beanie.
And they did go straight for the kid in the red beanie.
They went straight for the kid in the red beanie and the other one got pushed off. So that tickled Benoit Blanc's interest straight away. But then the next thing is she comes into when Cronenberg's slipping off the dish, she comes in and says to him, "Are all your descendants participating or eligible?" So
she's just.
So
does that mean
when she says that, the very next day he turns up in the event, I'm thinking that he's aware and that she's helped him for whatever reason get the kid kidnapped. So that's where I'm going firstly. That's my first theory.
Right. Solid. As you explained all that, Where does the bird shit eating come in?
Well, that's what I'm thinking. You're still down at the wharf, scraping all sorts of bird shit.
At the wharf.
You're scraping bird shit. I'll say, take this to the lab, get it tested. I want to know what bird it came from. I want to know who else has been eating it.
No, I said, take this to the lab and do some research to which birds eat lead. Jesus. Honestly, I shouldn't be allowed to watch this stuff. If I am going to watch it, pay attention, dickhead.
Oh, dear.
I've got a theory, though, as well. The brother is an imposter.
Yeah?
The brother's not who he says he is.
Okay.
And I would suggest that ties in with your theory that because he made mention, didn't he? Or was it? No, sorry, he doesn't. I think I might be slowly tipping into episode 2, but the bottom line is he comes out of the blue 25 years later, but I've just got that vibe of something like they've either the kid was never found, and they have now roped in an imposter, and it's all about getting the money somehow.
Yep.
He's going to win the challenges or whatever. He's not really the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my basic theory to start with, is that he's not who he says he is. So that will create... That will all unravel as the next few episodes go on, I reckon.
Right, okay. Interesting.
Someone will pick up on it.
Look, I reckon you've got bird shit in your eyes, but that's just me.
Well, I've definitely got shit for a brain, so...
Yeah, full of lead too.
It's
so
all going to go together.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I've been eating lead for years.
Yeah, no, I reckon you could be onto something there too. So we will see.
Yeah.
We'll see where it goes from here.
To me, it's not hard to pick that. It's if the first thing I would go to is a kid was kidnapped and has been away for 25 years, then suddenly resurfaces at the family reunion. It just reeks of the whole idea of he's trying to get the money somehow.
Yeah, of course.
He got wind of it. He got wind of the inheritance. He got wind of the kid who's missing. So I think that's pretty standard.
But how did he get wind of it? The housekeeper.
The housekeeper, yes. I think you'll find that there's the connections are starting to happen. We've solved it already.
Yeah. Well, I was looking at her daughter too. I was looking at the daughter and thinking, she's talking about why would she come back and all that sort of stuff. So I'm still, my eyes are on her. I'm watching you. Just to let you know.
Are you watching anyone else?
Not yet.
No. Other than the guy who sucks fingers and looks at who I was watching very closely.
Yeah. The only other thing I could say is Supernatural. That's why they haven't aged in it in 25 years. That's all I can go with.
Fuck. If that's it, I'll be livid.
That was the only explanation I could come up with for how people look exactly the same.
His hair's a different colour.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course. So there's no supernatural vibe. We can rule that out.
No, I've ruled that out already.
Okay, excellent.
I ruled that out early on, mate.
Good.
But look, I think that's a decent bit of coverage of the first episode.
Yep.
If I had to score it out of 5, if I had to score the episode specifically out of 5, I would have given it a 4.
Yeah, I'd probably sit at a 3.5, pushing towards a 4. I was pretty happy with it.
Yeah.
Snake Eyes. Again.
So I'm happy with where it's going. You've gone for Snake Eyes, of course.
You're always safe on a Snake Eyes.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I'm very happy with where it's currently at. The first episode was really good. We will knock out the second episode and come back and have another discussion. Delve deeper into our theories.
We'll probably have completely new theories based on what's been eaten through the episode. And, yeah.
I'll throw out a little tiny tidbit for the next episode. It was the shit eater.
Okay, yeah, good. You spoiled it for me.
Yeah, sorry, I fucked it all up for you. I apologise. But look, let's wrap it up there. We will check out the second episode and come back and do that episode, and we'll cover off on it. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.